it's an exciting times for Nigeria now. So we've decided, or rather we made a conscious decision to engage, because to be honest, engagement is what drives any form of development. If we are not engaging, how are we going to develop? So this is what has led us to putting in programs and activities and engagements that would help cities and engagements that would help steer the narrative into the right path, that the new Nigeria is actually possible. In as much as we believe that narrative 100%, but it's still something that we need to hold dear to ourselves. We need to constantly push the narrative. And part of pushing that narrative is addressing situations that we find ourselves in. For instance, we are talking today about ethnicity, the unity of ethnicity in Nigeria. And we've invited someone who has not only the knowledge, but the ability to actually express this reality for us. To bring in, to separate the words, the unity, ethnicity, and then Nigeria, and bring it together to form something unique that can be seen as a package to deliver from an engagement point of view. The unity of ethnicity in Nigeria, it's the key. Joe Paul, thank you very, very much for this opportunity, and I really, really hope it's something that we can express the value from the first minute. Thank you. Joe, all yours.
All right, thank you very much, my brother. So, thank you everyone that has find it okay to be here with us this evening. Thank you for what we have all been doing. The dream for a new Nigeria is actually possible, and by our commitment, resilience, and persistence, it is actually what would drive this new narrative and bring it to fruition. My name is Joe Paul Akat Osowo Obi. I am a Cross Riverian. I'm not an Igbo man. And I'll have to start it like that so that we will begin to show actually we are talking about the unity of ethnicity in Nigeria, which is very important. All of us here, we came from somewhere. We belong to a tribe. We belong to an ethnic group. So today I just want us to look at this. It's not a topic that I'm going to exhaust in one day. It's going to be a series that should run for at least a minimum of 1 month for us to be able to digest and synthesize the content and my dimension of ethnicity and the unity of Nigeria. And when you look at the evolution by Charles Darwin, you will see clearly that we are all classified as animals. But for man, who is me and you, we are a higher class of animal. And what makes us distinct and different from other classes of animals is that we have the ability to think. We have the ability to think, we have the ability to feel. But over time anyway, it has also been proven that even those other animals also think and feel. But the uniqueness of our own is that we coexist, especially across ethnic divide. And that is what makes us unique. We can learn, we can unlearn, and go ahead to affect each other's life differently. One other thing that also makes us man unique is the ability to also create. If you go to the animal kingdom, they are not building stuff that looks like that which man has been able to add to creation. But them, their own is just to maintain their habitat completely. So now, today we are looking at the unity of ethnicity in Nigeria. First and foremost, we need to understand that even the animal kingdom is divided. It is divided into different kingdoms, and that is the same thing that happened with us as human beings. And those of us that came from Nigeria, we are also divided into small parts. of ethnic groups. Now, I want us to look at life pre-Western invasion in Nigeria. I don't want to go and begin to talk about the broad spectrum of it as Africa. Now, before the invasion of the Western world in Africa, Nigeria to be precise, we were people that are unique, with identity, with cultures and traditions, which over time it has been proven that actually there is nothing that the West brought to us. We had all these things, but we were developing them according to our own pace. That is what has been. So before they came, now we were divided into, you see, the Yorubas, the Hausas, the Fulanis, the Orobos, the Shekiris, the Efiks, the Anan, the thieves. We have actually, as gazetted, Nigeria has up to 500, I think, and 23 ethnic groups in this very geographical area called Nigeria. So we were there. None of these people, none of this race emerged. None of this ethnic group or tribe emerged after the West invaded Nigeria. None of them. Apart from, with all due respect, the Fulanis, who are nomadic people who came into Nigeria later on. Every other tribe in Nigeria, they are more of indigenous people. Though there was also migration, which was actually part of what even Europe, even America today, it is established by the evolution of migration around the globe. So now, what I want us to understand is that before the West came, we were united. There was trade in Nigeria. There were medium of exchange in Nigeria. There was absolute respect for human rights, the dignity of human person. And I remember going through some things that they tell us, I was told by my grandfather, that in those days, their own parents told them that, that the greatest wrong that you would do to nature is to treat a stranger, somebody that is not from your tribe, who came to your tribe, wrongly. This is before modernization. This is before Western invasion of Nigeria. And we were trading up north, south, south to the north. And all these things were happening in Nigeria, and we were peaceful. There were little or no communal crisis and clashes. There were nothing like that recorded before the invasion of the West in Nigeria. And now, we were living peacefully, and that is why there are some names that you see that have lasted for decades, generations, in some tribes that are not actually in line with history, the tribal name of people. It is, these names came about that, like somebody left Benin Kingdom and went to Sokoto to go and trade. And when he got there, he got a malam who took care of him, gave him a place to sleep, was always providing his basic necessities on daily basis. And when he comes back and the wife put to bed, what he would do is to what? Name his child after that very malam, who is a friend whose kind gestures and hospitality has been able to affect his or her life positively. This is how we begin to have cross-ethnic names. Began to crossbreed ethnic names and identity. And this went a long way to strengthen the bond among ethnic nationalities within Nigeria, ethnic group, and all of that. So now, where did the problem came from? Now, we have established that we were united. There were no wars. There were no rancor. You can travel. They travel by foot. There was no bicycle. There was nothing. Till later when from the northern part of Nigeria, they started using camels and horses to travel. It has been all on foot. And people would travel even through the forest. Even when they are attacked by wild animal, they do all they can to kill the wild animal. And when they get to where human beings are, without asking where the person came from, they bandage the person's wound, take care of the person, and make sure that everything that belongs to the person is safe and intact. But where did the problem now start from? The problem started from the Western invasion. The Western invasion came first with religion. Came first with what? Religion. The instrumentality of religion, which was Christianity and Islam. And Islam came, and there was a jihad, which we know by Usman Dan Fodio, that had a vow to himself that he would conduct a jihad until the Quran is dipped at the Atlantic Ocean, which is in the south, in the western part of Nigeria. And the jihad continued until they conquered down to Kwara State, and the bulk of the northern part of the country became Islamized. The religion, the traditions, the culture of the North was completely annihilated, and the culture of Islam, as orchestrated by Usman Dan Fodio, became the culture and the tradition of our people in the North. It is important for those of us that are from the North, who are also part of Islam, to note that Islam, and those of us in the South, that Christianity was not part of our ethnic identity. It wasn't part of our culture. Islam and Christianity were not. But we were a people united, a people that are hospitable, a people that are humane, a people that were already respecting and operating on the principles of fundamental human rights, respect to the dignity of the human person. It was the advent of Christianity and Islam, which was actually an invasion from the West, that brings about what we are doing now. The question is, Was there anything, any life we live that was reconcilable to dictates of Christianity and Islam? Yes. Yes. Nigerians and all the ethnic groups in Nigeria were all godly people. Were all people that looked up to a creator, an invisible being, and they served that invisible being through their relationship with each other, even without knowing where they came from. And that is what was the bond that made Nigeria what it was before all this trouble started. So when Islam and Christianity came, we started living. They came with the fact that what we were doing was completely not okay, was not acceptable, was not the trend, and we started throwing away our own values, because one of those things about an ethnic people, a people of ethnicity, is their identity of the way they live their life, which is culture. So our culture was attacked by the two main tools that were used to westernize Nigeria, which is Christianity and Islam. So they found fault in the way we related with each other, in the way we worship our own God, in the way we see ourselves, in the way we see things, and in the way we operate. These were things that the two major religions brought to us. And to an extent, they began what I call the psychological dehumanization of Nigerians, whereby we lost our identity. We lost our self-concept. We lost our self-esteem, because self-esteem, self-concept are actually embodied and boldened by the culture, your culture and your tradition. That is where we find morality, what is right and what is wrong. So all of this was replaced, and that our own was completely wrong, was not okay, was not acceptable, was alien, was anti-human, and all of that. That is how Nigeria, we began to lose our identity. And today, what did this happen? What now happened is that over time, gradually, we started seeing ourselves as only a people of religion. This was the major effect. We no longer see ourselves as human beings. We no longer see ourselves as a united people, as Nigerians, as a people of tribe, but only majorly as a people of religious affiliation. We lost everything, and we begin to identify people only by their religion. People were no longer interested where you come from, because even within the Yorubas, the Igbos, the Niger Deltans, and all of that, whoever that is bearing goes by the name that is Islamic. Nobody cares again whether that person is an Igbo, that person is Yoruba, that person is Steve, that person is a Niger Deltan, that person is from Ebra, that person is from, all this ethnic group. Nobody cares. But once they hear your name, they feel that, oh, this one is Igbo. And our identification with people, our allegiance, our closeness, our submission to people, and everything, the choices we made were now completely submerized to just religion. And the identity it portrays was by the names that we bear. And it is also worthy to note that most of the names that most of the tribe in the north today bears are not traditional.